So Mark, so nice to speak to you. Thanks for taking the time. So if people haven't seen Down to Earth yet, what's this documentary all about?
This documentary is about a family who decide that they are, I guess, unsatisfied with life in a Dutch city. I say they decide, the parents decide, because the children are aged 2, 4, and 7, and they think, well, we want to go and live in the woods. And so they go to the shores of Lake Michigan, way up in the north, and live in a caravan and build themselves a house in the woods. And then they discover people who live there in the woods who are indigenous tribal Americans who live up there very far away from our so-called modern culture. And after a while, with this one particular man, they discover, as you'll see in the film, that he has very interesting things to say about life. And he's kind of hopeful and positive, despite living very humbly, about the future. And so they decide to, they ask him if they can film him. American Indians are very suspicious about filming. They feel what you're seeing right now is stealing my soul. Maybe it is. So it takes about a year before he says that he'll allow it. But then he does allow it. And then they have this wild vision that they will travel the world and try and find other people like him who are speaking about living in a more connected way with nature, living as a part of nature rather than as this idea that we tend to live with, that we are the gardeners or the dominators of nature, or nature's just there, animals, plants, the earth, for us to use for our brilliant plans. These people live differently than that, as a part of nature, equal part. And they set off and do that, but they do it as a family. And a lot of people want to be interviewed by them, and they say, no, we're not so sure. And so it takes them a while to find out how to find these people, most of whom are living in communities, and you have this sense of them living in a really lovely way, which is hard to find now, where you know everyone on your street or in your town, and people are very supportive and have known each other for a long time, and recognize who the leaders are amongst the young people and promote those people into positions of authority, and all those things have to do with the community that are much harder to find for us. And they're led by their children. Oh, there are just so many wonderful things in the film. I'm thinking of it, the beautiful landscapes, and there's this beautiful island off of Australia they go to where there's this very wild woman who takes young boys who are troublemakers, who've fallen foul of the law, and she helps them to fend for themselves, to learn how to grow their own food and to live on this island. And this Dutch family lived there for about a year. So always in the background you see their kids running across the shots, you know, and having fun with these other kids who they speak very different languages. And so the film is kind of led by the wonderful innocence of the family. And I think a lot of these indigenous people would not have spoken to the parents if the children hadn't been there. It's because they went with their children, and they went with very low-tech equipment like you're using here tonight, that the indigenous people shared their unbelievably hopeful attitude about how we are all going to be reconnecting with the planet. Unfortunately, I mean, I think that's probably going to be after some rather tragic things wake us up. How many of us fix our roofs until the rain's coming in or there's a leak? And I just hope that the famines and the floods and the things aren't too devastating. But certainly where we all kind of sense that what we're doing isn't sustainable, that we're not able to stop. So something's going to stop us.
So I assume that the idea perhaps isn't that every family be able to try and make the journey that this family have made, but take away some of the things that they learn and from the people they met. You know, so what do you think the big takeaways will be for people when they watch this film?
I think you get a sense in the film of what's essential. What's essential? So much stuff is sold to us as stuff that will make us happy or fulfilled in our lives, give our lives purpose. And a lot of it just isn't. A lot of it's really actually just an attempt to get money from us or get us to do something for someone else. But These people who have so little possessions, very little ambition other than to survive the day, happy to wake up in the morning alive. I heard a great teacher the other day who was saying, you know, 1 million people a day die in their sleep. 1 million people every evening, every night time die. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thing is check, oh, I'm alive. Good, that's a result. That's a result. And then if you think there are probably 10 million people who are affected by the 1 million people who die, so the next thing, look around, the people you love, people who are close, are they all okay? Yeah, great. It's a good day. It's a good day. We all go around, I certainly do, thinking I'm immortal, that it'll last forever. And therefore you get distracted by a lot of things that maybe aren't that essential to the intimacy and love of another human being, the love you can have with an animal, the beauty of the plants, the beauty of the seasons and things that are really givens. One get very distracted and spend a lot of money, waste a lot of time chasing a lot of other things, which is fun. I mean, I'm not a Puritan. I like all that stuff, but it's good to remember that you don't really need it necessarily, and some of it really leads to an increased anxiety and fear. And these people with their communities and their ancient wisdom and thoughts, you come out of the film just feeling gently happy. I saw it a couple of days ago, and I still feel a certain glow of, oh, I really love my wife, and I really love my daughter, and it's really, I'm really lucky, you know. So it has a nice affirming thing like that.
And I understand all the proceeds are going to Survival International, which you're ambassador of.
Tonight they're sharing their proceeds with Survival International, yeah, which is great. It's an old organisation here in London from 1969 that has fought very hard since '69 for the rights of tribal indigenous people, led by a brilliant man, Stephen Corey. And yes, I've been an ambassador for a while. And in fact, he can't be here tonight because there's such a fight going on in the Amazon at the moment to protect undiscovered people. People who, when they see an airplane fly over, they think it's a big beetle flying over. Their culture is so rare and wonderful, you know, and they're to be protected. They don't have any sense of ownership of the planet in any way like we have. And it's very easy to think, let's just get them off the land and cut those trees down and put in some cows or grow soya or stuff. But tribal people, there are 150 million tribal people in the world, all over the world, no representation at the UN, and with an extraordinary outlook on the world that's very valuable to us. So I'm a great supporter of Survival, and it's nice that they're giving their 50% of the ticket proceeds tonight to Survival.
And can you very quickly tell us about any of your upcoming projects? What can we see you in next?
Well, I'm playing Iago at the Globe at the moment. It's nice to be back at the Globe under the leadership of Michelle Terry, another actor leading it, which is exciting to me. And I'm off to make a film of a wonderful book called Waiting for the Barbarians, which is about this similar kind of topic, actually, by J.M. Coetzee. Have you read it? Yeah. The South African. I do, undergrad. Yeah. It's a very powerful book. Won the Nobel Prize for Literature back in its day. But unfortunately, my character's going to gets tortured, and I'm just reading the book again now. I read the script, and I'm reading the book again. I'm realizing, oh God, I'm going to go down and be tortured by Johnny Depp in Morocco somewhere. Anyway, it's a living, isn't it?
All right, well, fantastic. We look forward to seeing that. Well, in some ways.
Thank you, yeah.
Thanks so much. Lovely to meet you. Thank you. Thanks for your time.